because she needed to transport her things. I know my wife is this kind of woman that she wouldn't want to leave her things. So she wanted to travel with all those her things. But when we got to the park, there was no vehicle. There was no, because normally she takes this 7-seater bus. So there was no this 7-seater bus, so there was this 18-seater bus. She said, no, she can't take that bus. So we're already driving out of. She said, no, I can't go today, I'll go tomorrow. So as we're driving out of the park, that was when we saw Brown. Brown is my friend. Brown is an elder in my church. You know, I attend NKC low level. Okay. So Brown is a diacon in my church. Okay. So my children know Brown because he's the diacon of the children. Oh. Yeah, so when my children saw him, Uncle Brown, and then Brown was saying, this is how you people will come to Abuja and will enjoy yourself and you'll not tell me, okay, come, let me go and buy you bango. Brown took my children and was buying all those children bango, those Hausa people at the park and all that. You know, when I saw Brown, I was on duty that day. When I saw Brown, my mind came down. I even asked him when I went to Nazareth, Brown, is this what you promised me? You told me you were going to take care of my family. So what's up, man? You are lying down here dead. My family is lying down there. Brown was just raising his hand like this.
10 years of friendship, 3 years of courtship, 12 years in marriage, 25 years of their lives together. Your imagination. A man in one day loses 4 members of his family, his whole existence. He has taken years and times to build. And just in one day, like the candle in the wind, they just blew off. Some time ago, the story of a man who lost his wife and 3 children was trended on social media. It was not an easy to digest incident that left a lot of people's hearts broken, with lasting pain, tears, and unanswered questions still remains. Some months later, Against All Odds came in contact with the bereaved and broken-hearted Tavishima Maurice Chebe, who described the 16th day of September 2019 as a volcanic eruption in his life. In spite of all the odds, Mr. Tavishima, which means strong-hearted, Maurice Chebe, narrated the account of that accident with his mind and soul.
The vehicle that disengaged the head and used the bucket to hit my family and fall into the ditch, the driver admitted later on that he was at fault. When I arranged my family together, I knelt down in a mortuary and I told them that Junior, Beauty, Mote, Comfort, you know that I love you guys so much. You know. If not because of the luggages that you have, I always drop you. I've never allowed you to go into transport. But you know, your mom came to buy and sell for Christmas. So she had a lot of luggages, which I couldn't carry. So please, you guys need to forgive me. Do you know when I was talking to my children, they were crying. My wife wanted me to know the magnitude of the damage that made her die. Even as I'm talking to you now, if I tell you that I'm seeing my wife, you'll not believe me.
This is Against All Odds.
I assessed for PTSD, I assessed for depression, anxiety, and some other psychopathologies. And of course, I wanted to examine how he was coping with the traumatic event. And he had high-level PTSD, of course, high-level depression, high-level anxiety, and also I assessed his sleep. Of course, he wasn't sleeping well. We had to start work immediately.
Maurice Chebe took Against All Odds down memory lane, back to the day he met his wife in Zaria. She was a very little girl in primary school, and he later reconnected with her when she studied at the Queen of the Holy Rosary Secondary School, Boko.
One day I was in the park, and somebody just hit me at the back. In fact, I didn't even recognize her because she has gone. I took her to the school, and then subsequently I started visiting the school. Then my wife started visiting me too. Can visit me, come and wash my clothes. She was a young girl. In those days, my father used to tell me that they married, their wives were brand new. They never married a Belgian woman. That is to say that they dispensing their wives. That's what happened to me. I tear the letter. My mom wanted me to marry her friend's daughter.
Against all odds, he later won his mother's heart to accept his proposed bride, Comfort Ungumimi. He had to face another battle with his father-in-laws, who saw him as a garage tout out to spoil their young and intelligent daughter.
So I went to the village. My father-in-law told me that me and Amagbo, but the daughter is insisting that she wants to marry me, so I should go and settle with the mothers. That for him, he's not collecting anything. I'm giving you my daughter free.
But where love leads, it always prevails. Comfort and Maurice Jebe were adamant and bent on spending forever together.
My wife finished secondary school in my house. I trained my wife. Yeah, I trained her. When I had my first child, she was surprised. You know, because I married my wife before she finished her secondary school.
So that closeness is more like a sister, more than a wife thing.
I was going to her school to visit her as a brother.
Losing the wife of your youth, a woman who loves you and tolerates your excesses, a woman who understands you, could be worse than the biblical story of Job, which no one can ever understand.
My wife woke up in the morning and mopped the whole of this house. And my friend, Mr. Nekan, was asking, you are traveling, why are you mopping the house? We have people, say, no, I don't want to. She mopped the house, cooked food, we ate food. I took them to the park. My wife was not happy. But because of the excitement of the children and the way we met Brown, she kept telling me that she would not want to enter this vehicle. But Brown kept saying that, madam, problem I'm with you here, so what is your problem? Is that how you come to Abuja, you enjoy yourself now, you don't want to leave your husband? I bet madam, what they talk about here. When this accident happened, my wife called me. But it was raining. So and it was like 10 minutes to the office. So I didn't want to pick call. I said, when I reach office, I'll pick call. So when I reached the office, I was calling my wife, and it was as if she was where there's no network. So I said, no problem. Maybe they are still on the road, so there's no network. So I sat down with Mr. Ed when I was doing one thing. This small time, I just heard something that, Daddy, we have accident. We are dead. Mommy is dead. Mote is dead. Junior is dead. It's only Beauty that is alive. I just kept, I didn't say anything. After 15 minutes again, Daddy, we are dead. Mommy is dead. I am dead. Mote is dead. It's only Beauty that is not dead. I now told Edward. I said, Edward, I'm having the feeling that my family is dead. Edward said, is it not these children that you are with here? Why are you saying this on your children? I said, but that is how I feel. So no, don't say that. But as I sat down, I kept on voicing it out to Edward. Edward, something is wrong. I can feel that my family is in pains. So Edward and I said, okay, let me call Matthew. Because Matthew is in Lafia. So let him help us stress. I now called Mr. Nekan. I said, Mr. Nekan, my spirit is not resting. It's like my family had accidents.
When everything happened, how were you able to put yourself together?
It's the way I was brought up. Our mom usually told us that something happened back home. So he said, anytime you had a distress call, you don't need to be in a hurry. You need to think and know how to act. So when he put up the call, I told him, no problem, come back home, let's prepare and go. The worst may have happened, so you take it like that. So, but I didn't believe that something happened. I just thought maybe when we get there, they would be waking up and they will survive. Because I've been through an incident before, 2011, August 26th, the UN bomb blast have been involved, and I know how I recovered. So I know that there's always an afterlife. So I jumped out and we were on the road. So I tried making some contact to find out have someone in Lafia. So I was in touch with the person while driving to know what is happening. So he confirmed that the worst had happened. So I couldn't hold it. Somewhere around Kefi, I had to break the news to her. Look, that was that we expected has happened. So you need to brave up as a man. He was like, I should park, he wants to drive. I said, don't worry, I will take the driving again. So when I recovered, I picked up the driving.
This is Against All Odds.
And then this man burst into tears, uncontrollable tears, because this is a family that is his family. Yeah. And he told me that, Morris, what you are saying is truth. I just confirmed that your family is dead. And I said that I told you. But he said that the exciting aspect of it is that Beauty is alive. Because Beauty is my favorite daughter. Beauty knows me in and out. And Beauty was waiting for me. She never died.
I was on slow motion, but I picked up, and in my mind, I didn't really believe that they were gone, because they left this house. I actually left them for church, so they were leaving, so I didn't believe that they would be gone. Just maybe they'll be conscious. But when we got there, the reality set in. They were already dry and straight. So he started crying, apologizing to them for putting them on the public transport and all that.
I went to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, my dear, everybody was lying down dead. Brown, whom I gave my family to take care of, was putting his hand up like this. You know, he died a death that he didn't expect. My wife was lying down broken. The truck was coming from the other side and eventually dodged the gallop that removed the head from the bucket. Oh! And then the bucket now faced their vehicle was passing at the time that bucket was removed. Oh. And the bucket now pushed them to the dish and now rolled on them. That was the time my wife called me to tell me that they're in danger. But because we are not allowed to make calls while driving, and because of the time limit and the rain that was falling when I was coming out from the airport, I couldn't see parking space, so I decided to drive to the office first. So it took so many hours for people to come and rescue them. I now called my auntie, who works with teaching hospital. Auntie, my family is dead. My wife and my children, though Beauty is alive. So please, the doctor is a student doctor, he's a housemanship, because the hospital is on strike. So he's saying that he can inject this baby and this baby can stay for 4 hours. From Nazareth to Makurdi is less than 3 hours. So arrange a doctor so that when we come, the doctor will attend. I left the hospital, went to the market again, and was knocking from one supermarket to another to look for leather, to look for carton. Because we had a Camry. There was no ambulance. I looked for ambulance, I didn't see ambulance. So I wanted to make a stretcher with a carton. Because my daughter had a broken hand, a broken leg, and a removed limb. So there was no way I could shake her. I looked for a carton so that I can make a stretcher, come and put her on a stretcher and tie her into the carton so that she would just remain straight.
Carrying the children was not a problem, but when I had to carry the wife, the cold set in, and he didn't really understand what happened when I asked me to put on the AC for the doctor that was surviving. I was still up. So that one would come awake, pass out, come awake, pass out. I was telling him, just beg your wife to free her, because I think they're trying to carry her, because when she comes awake, she'll be calling mommy, Junior, Mute, because the last one is Mute. So it's like the spirit is worrying them. So it was until I drove out and hit the express that the cold left in it.
When we got to Ojiwe now, to Madonna Hospital, that is where beauty lost. That is where we lost beauty. If we had a proper medical attention, beauty would have been alive, even though you're on a wheelchair, because she had serious injuries, she would have been alive. By the time we got to Madonna Hospital, everybody was dead. My wife dead, Beauty was dead. I was so scattered. I was so devastated. In fact, I didn't even know what I was doing. Wow, my wife, 3 children. Oh my God.
He mentioned that immediately he found out that they had died, he felt his heart leave him. It was as if he had only his body, empty body. He froze momentarily, and then after a few seconds or minutes, he now had to kick into action to begin to pack their bodies himself, into the vehicle, and then he tried taking the daughter, Beauty, to the hospital, and then he said something that struck me. When I asked him how he was feeling at the moment I was having that conversation with him, because I needed to get his present state, he said, I can't tell you how I'm feeling, but I can describe it to you. I said, go ahead. He now said, do you know a piece of bread? I said, yes. That I feel like a piece of bread that someone used bread knife to cut into pieces and then put together and then kept somewhere. He thought about killing himself. But he remembered his other, his extended family members, his mother, and, his in-laws, and then he said, no, if I go, these people will definitely go. So the best thing would be to, tidy up this and see how to move on. Of course, his workplace also helped tremendously, of course, by bringing me in to assist during that period.
It never occurred to me that it was my wife and my children, even though I was the one that brought them from the accident scene to the mortuary. And I still took them from the mortuary to go and bury them. It was as if I was going for somebody's burial. That is the mercy of God over my life. After my children's death, I've not felt it like I'm feeling it now. I've not felt it like I am feeling it now. It is now that I am beginning to understand that my wife is no longer. My children are no longer. It is now that this would have died too. So my wife don't die. But sometimes it could come to my mind that when your wife died, then it will just go back. And then it will come again and say, oh, your wife died. But now it is really telling on me. I don't sleep at night. I was drinking to stupor. But I lost my wife and I lost my children. So if you come and tell me that my story is like the story of Job, I tell you like, no, it's not. And then when you come to tell me that, I understand how you feel. I look at you and I say, this man, you get your wife still there alive, you get your children still there alive. So how do you understand how I feel? One of my friends came. He said, bros, this is my friend that I was thinking he would follow me to the burial and everything. He never followed me. So his way of expressing his love on me was he was unable to call me. That, bro, I don't know how I will call you. But what he said to me is what embraces even more than what everybody told me. He told me that, bros, I was sitting with my wife in my house with my children, and I was just looking at my children, and I put myself under your shoe, and I say, wow, if these children and my wife now are no longer, how will I feel? Then I say, yeah, you understand how I feel.
Mr. Tavishima Morris JB, gave all to his wife and 3 children. He built his world, energy, resources, time to make them happy and fulfilled. They had traveled the world and explored most major places in Nigeria. Theirs was a short but eventful life.
If you want to get married, you should be able to face the consequences. We have to nurture our wives the way we want them to be. You see, women don't like you hiding a lot of things from them. Because if you're hiding something from a woman, she can initiate her own, and when it comes out, it's very terrible. I knew that, and I was very open to my wife. So my wife never hides anything from me. I'm so much attached to her, she's attached to me. That was why I was able to get that signal when they died. It was until when I discovered their dead bodies that Benno Links told me that they're dead. I have already made up my mind to accept my fate before the psychologist. Because there was a psychology doctor they brought from Geneva from me that did not really understand how we operate in West Africa. So he was rather bringing more pain than good to me. And I advised him that, so I don't really want to disrespect you, but I don't think you are the right person for me. Before they now brought this other psychologist to me.
If you juxtapose his psychological state now and the psychological state I met him in when I first met him, I think that was in November. I think that he has greatly improved. He has greatly improved. He has stabilized, and he's happier, and he's adjusting well to the situation that he has found himself in.
The foundation is a sure way of keeping hope alive. Mrs. Comfort Gumimi Jebe was highly industrious and out to help the less privileged in the society. To keep her legacy alive, her mother-in-law sold the idea of a foundation, and of course, for love, commitment to the cause of never again letting accident patients being stranded, Jebe keyed into the idea after due consultation.
So I vowed that I will never ever, no matter how critical an accident is, I will never stop. So God wants to tell me that you cannot make those kind of decisions. So when my wife died in a motor accident, and I discovered that there was no ambulance, or there was no towing van, and there was no emergency attention given to them, I decided that I would take it upon myself. So I bought the idea my mom brought, and I want to work towards it. We want to see how we can give ambulances, if possible. Each state will have 20 ambulances, because we are looking at having even helicopters. We can be in Abuja here, and something happens in Benue, and you will have a call, and we move on the helicopter. And they were equipped ambulances which will have good medical attention before they get to the hospital. Because a lot of people die on road accidents because of lack of care. I am a victim of that. I took somebody to the hospital. I had to bring police reports. The person died. I buried that person. My wife died with my children, and the doctor who I met in that hospital refused to give me a notice to any other hospital than the government hospital. Now I want to neutralize it. I want to have partnership with all hospitals, so that once you see Comfort Gumimi Jebe Foundation, no matter how critical, even if it is gunshot, you have to attend to those people. I want to work with the Federal Emergency Agency. I want to work with the road safety. And I want to work with all concerned citizens, both in Nigeria, here in diaspora. I need support from them. You understand? Yes. My younger sister, she has already donated her Sienna bus as an ambulance. So already we have an ambulance. There's a lady general that donated a Sienna bus to us. She says she doesn't want us to mention her name. So a lot of people are already donating. But because we are still at the point of trying to incorporate at the corporate affairs, we cannot come out openly and tell people that this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. But sincerely, as I'm talking to you now, there are a lot of agencies, both UN agencies that want to partner with us. We just want the government to identify with us. We're not looking for government sponsorship. God will send people who will finance us.
JB has accepted his cross, bearing in mind that all he has left are the shadows and memories of his past and how to keep them alive. May God Almighty continue to console Tavishima Morris JB and the entire family members. Amen.